So thank you for being here, for watching this, for being here live. And if you're happen to be watching it later on, thank you for that. I was just saying before we start that today is level 1 sequence 3, following along with the Iyengar Yoga Association of Greater New York's home practice sequences. So this sequence is structurally, when I look at it, I think it's a really nice, wonderful level 1 standing pose kind of summary sequence. It touches a lot of the core standing poses that make an appearance in a lot of the different practices. As such, it will be challenging, but that's good. So thank you for being here. And if you're watching live, thanks for coming in from a beautiful Sunday in Bozeman to watch live. And if you're watching later on, I hope you enjoyed your beautiful Sunday in Bozeman. So we'll start seated, Swastikasana, cross the legs at the middle of the shins. And move the shoulder blades and shoulder joints. So not just the shoulder blades, but even the upper arm bone, this whole territory of the shoulder joint, move that back and pull it down so that your actual top shoulder stretches back towards your waist. And so one of the actions that we find with the shoulder blades is we pull them back and down, and that allows you to lift the chest. But it's just as much as the shoulder blades move down, the rib cage and sternum bone lift up and slightly forward. Up is more important than forward, but forward happens a little bit as well. And then if you haven't yet, also you close the eyes, just softly bringing the top eyelid down to meet the bottom eyelid. And oftentimes in our practice, it's good practice to start with something quiet, like a seated pose or a simple seat like this, meditating, or if we use the broader sense of that word meditating in a kind of a general sense or broader sense of just turning attention inward. And with that quietness, because we're seated, there still has to be some alertness to the body. So the shoulders remain active, the chest remains active, the muscles of the back remain active. But a lot of the body actually here can be quite passive. So the eyes are passive. The jaw and the tongue are passive. And it is said in the sutras, in the Yoga Sutras that go over asana, the posture, that the postures are perfected by releasing unnecessary efforts. And that is Sutra 247. 246 defines the asana as a steady, comfortable position, or a steady, satisfied, wholehearted position. And that posture is perfected by releasing unnecessary effort and reflecting on the infinite, or reflecting on the endlessness. And so there's sort of like 2 stages to perfecting your postures. There's a physical stage, and then a metaphysical stage, or an inner reflection stage. So most of what we do in what we would call right now like a public class is we really work very directly on the physical stage. What should you do? What should you relax? But in a home practice, you have the time, you have the spaciousness, the bandwidth to go deeper into the postures, go deeper into what effect they have on your body, what effect they have on your energy, what effect they have on the quality of your mind, on the tamping down of mental fluctuations. But that's so important, that just that first physical piece of release effort that you don't need. And that brings the steadiness to the pose. Then bring the hands together in front of the heart in the prayer position. And we'll just softly chant the sound of Om together. Take a deep breath in. Om. Release the palms, turn them up on the thighs, bow the head forward. And softly lift the head. Use the inhalation to bring up the head. Keep the eyes and the face, the jaw soft. And then as you exhale, whenever your next exhalation comes, you can softly open the eyes. And you release the legs forward. Release your seat, come forward off of any props that you were sitting on. And I'm going to push my blankets back off of my mat to get them out of the way, and I'm coming up to standing. We're going to do 2 standing poses, the first 2 standing poses of this sequence, which are upward arms, Urdhva Hastasana, and Utkatasana, the powerful pose, or it's called Utkatasana, powerful pose. Usually it's referred to as the chair pose. And the arms are the same in both poses, in the final pose, which is the Urdhva Hastasana arms. So we're going to start doing both poses kind of one after the other, but with the feet hips distance apart. So we're going to start essentially in Tadasana, mountain pose, with the feet hips distance apart. Have your second toes parallel to each other. And once the second toes are parallel, extend your arms along the sides of your body. Lift on your patellas so that your kneecaps lift. And take your weight back towards your heels. I've been repeating this cue for the last few of these online classes that generally weight goes forward. When we stand, the weight goes forward toward the balls and the toes of the feet. So press the balls of the feet and the toes down and spread the toes forward. Keep that, but take your weight back so that the pelvis stacks over the heels, the toes spread forward. And now lift through the front hip flexors. Take the tailbone and the top of the buttock down in the back side of the body. So there's a downward tilt of the pelvis at the back. And at the front part of the legs, the front part of the body, lift from the front thighs through the hip flexors and keep that lift going through the abdomen to the lift of the chest. And what you'll feel if you lift the chest by taking the tailbone down and extending up from the mid thighs all the way up through the abdomen to the chest, you'll also feel that this territory on your middle back, your back bottom ribs, also lifts. Blend that with reaching the shoulders strongly down, extend the shoulders down from the back of the neck and the top shoulder, extend through the arm to the pinky, straight elbow. Now, when we take upward arms, start by extending the arms in front of you. Keep the weight moving back to the heels. Have the palms facing each other, but turn your biceps up toward the ceiling. Straighten the elbows. Once again, lift back here. Lift the back bottom ribs up, away from the lower back. Take the tailbone down. So you should actually feel that your lower back is noticeably longer. Tailbone's going down, back, so that's the base of the lumbar, L5, and at L1, the top of the lumbar, lift up, lift the ribs away from the lower back. So there's no back bend at all right now. It's the lumbar is as long as possible. Usually when we do back bends, the posterior lumbar, the back side of the lumbar gets shorter and the anterior part of the lumbar gets longer. So right now you're looking for equal length, front and back of the lumbar spine. Keep that as you extend the arms overhead. Now, when you extend the arms, you have to keep the elbows straight and the biceps turning behind you. And you keep lifting up through that kind of what we call the thoracic lumbar junction in the lower back, back bottom rib territory. And move your arms further back. Wherever they're at, keep the elbows straight, but move the arms even further back. Now we're going to transition to Utkatasana, chair pose, or powerful pose. Bend your knees and extend your shin bones forward. Move the knees forward to the maximum ability of your ankles to go into that forward dorsiflexion. And then once you have that maximum dorsiflexion, start to sit the thighs and the buttocks down, but keep extending the tailbone forward like it's going between your legs. So you're not poking your butt out behind you, but you're taking your buttock forward towards your knees, tailbone toward the space on the floor between the feet. Extend the arms, lift the back bottom ribs, inhale to come up, and then release the arms out to the sides and down. So we're going to do just the leg version of that pose, just Utkatasana legs. You still have your feet hips distance apart, second toes parallel. Press down into your big toes, press down into the necks of the toes, like the little lengths of the bones of the toes, and turn your outer ankles in. So you're really pronating your feet here. You're pressing your big toe and your inner heel down very strongly and spreading your toes on the ground. And with that, bend the knees forward. Then take the tailbone forward. And as you keep taking the tailbone forward, sit down behind you as if you were sitting onto a chair, but don't poke your butt out to sit onto the chair. Keep taking the top of the buttock down and the bottom buttock toward the knees. So that same quality of length with the lumbar spine, find that here. Easy to just throw the buttock back and arch the lumbar. Make the lumbar longer. Lift the chest, sit down a little deeper into the pose. Extend the lumbar by taking the sacrum bone back and down. And sit down a little deeper. And inhale to come up. So now we're going to do the classical version of those poses, which is just the same pose essentially, but the feet are together. So start in Tadasana with the feet together. Join the big toes, join the big toe ball mound and the big toe length together, and inner heel together. Lift the chest, extend the arms alongside the body. Here too, press the big toes and the lengths of the toes down, stretch them forward. Take the thighs back as you lift the patellas up. Now here, roll your feet inward. I'm not asking you to collapse your arch. The arch still lifts, but you still press down into the big toe. Press down into the big toe ball mount, the inner heel. Lift the chest, extend the arms forward and up. Now to get your arms to go further back, move your shoulder blades forward and keep the lumbar long. Take the tailbone down. Lift from the front hip flexors up through the abdomen to the chest. Lift up through that back bottom rib and take the arms further back. And now for Utkatasana, bend the knees, sit the hips down. Now, if you find that your ankle bones collide during this process, you can separate your heels slightly. You don't need much to keep the inner ankle bones from colliding. Now, there are ways to press into the feet to make sure that those inner ankle bones elongate away from each other, but Just the quick fix is to get the heels a little farther apart. And then sit down deeper into the pose. Keep lifting the chest, tailbone down, chest lifts. And sit down deeper into the pose. Sit the top buttock down. Take the bottom buttock toward the knees. And then inhale to come up. Extend the arms forward and down. Stand in Tadasana. So that concludes the Urdhva Hastasana and Utkatasana, upward arms and powerful pose, aka chair pose. The next pose is extended triangle, Utthita Trikonasana. So you start in Tadasana. Bring the fingertips together in front of the chest. Inhale to jump the feet wide. Now with the feet wide, I have bricks. We'll use the bricks today. So I'm going to bring bricks next to both calves. I'm going to take the brick to the tallest setting. Extend the arms. Now I'm going to have you extend your arms, but I'm still going to use my hands to point at different things on the body. So I'm lifting my kneecaps up. I'm lifting up from my front hip flexors up through my abdomen and lifting my chest. The back of the body, I take the tailbone downward. So lift from the front hip flexors up through the front body, back body, take the tailbone and the top buttock straight down. Keep that, turn the feet to the right. Turn the left toes in, right foot turns out 90. Take the left hip down and back, right hip lift up. Lift up through that right hip. So although the feet have turned and you're turning your thighs now, both thighs are turning out, continue to lift from the abdomen to the chest. Continue to lift up through those front hip flexors, front hips. Take the tailbone down at the back of the body. Turn the right thigh out even more, pull up on that patella as you extend over the right leg. Take the right hand down to the brick. Use the brick at the tallest setting. And if you can see my arm, I want to position this brick with my right arm right under my shoulder. So I don't want to have it too far away, nor do I want to have it so far in that my arm is back of my shoulder. You position the brick so that you can put your hand on the brick and your hand is right underneath your shoulder joint. And you extend the top arm up. Now once again, take the tailbone forward, lift from the abdomen to the chest, and turn the chest from the right to the left. Press the rear heel, inhale to come up, turn the feet. Parallel first, and then to the left. Lift from the front hip flexors through the abdomen and chest. Take the buttock, top buttock down, bottom buttock and tailbone pulling forward. So one of the ways to think of it is that you're trying to rotate, externally rotate both thighs. Not only are you trying, but you're actually doing it. Externally rotating both of your thighs. And you're pushing your tailbone and back pelvis forward as if they were going to move through your thighs. And as much as that pelvis and tailbone pulls forward, the thighs turn out. With the arms extended, lift from the abdomen to the chest, extend over the left leg, take the brick down and make sure that brick is under the shoulder. Turn both of your thighs out. Keep that tailbone pulling forward. Turn the abdomen and chest from left to right. And press the rear heel, inhale, pull the right arm to help you come up. Turn the feet, bend the knees, jump the feet back together. Now we are going to do the pose again. I'm going to focus a little bit more on that chest. So bend the knees, bring the fingertips together, jump the feet out to the side. The arms are going to help you lift the chest. So that's the first kind of hint of the pose. Turn your feet to the right, keep your arms extended, turn your biceps up and lift your chest. Extend through the arms and take the shoulder blades down your back. And when I say down your back, it should feel like they can drop away from your ears at least an inch. Pull the shoulder blades down and reach through the arms. And even take your arms a little bit higher, or your hands a little higher than shoulder level. Now take the same actions as the previous pose, or the previous time doing the pose. Lift through the hip flexors, double external rotation on the thighs, and pull that buttock and tailbone forward like you were going to pull your butt through your thighs at the front plane of your body. Keep that, extend the arms, extend over the right leg, take the right hand down, this time to a lower brick setting, or you can place the hand on the ankle or the shin. Lift the chest by taking the shoulders away from the ears, stretch the arms away from each other, extend the left arm up, and then roll your chest from the right to the left. And now you can look up at your left hand, but it shouldn't feel like a strain in the neck. It should actually feel like your head naturally looks up because of how lifted and turned your chest and abdomen are. Press the rear heel, inhale to come up. Turn the feet, and then turn the feet to the opposite side. Lift from the abdomen and hip flexors through the chest with the arms extended. Have the hands a little higher than shoulder height. Yep, that's the one. A little higher than shoulder height. Drop the shoulders. Turn the biceps up. And now turn the thighs from the inside out. Pull the tailbone and buttock forward as if they were going to go through the legs as you extend over the left leg. Take your hand this time down to a slightly lower brick setting, second setting. Turn your thighs out. And now to get the chest to lift, take the shoulders away from the ears and turn the chest up toward the ceiling. The top arm, your right arm, stretch those fingers up, not back, but just straight up. Turn your chest, roll the chest from the left to the right, and then you look up at your hand. And you're really more looking up with your chest than just your face. Like your face follows the chest. If you're straining your neck to do this, then you have to turn your chest more. And then press the rear heel, inhale to come up, turn the feet, and jump the feet back together. Our next pose, that completes Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle. So you're in Tadasana here, lifting the chest. The next pose is Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. So you'll jump or step the feet out to the sides and turn the feet to the right. Lift the chest, drop the shoulders. And now we're going to bend the right knee, press back the left heel, keep the left knee straight. The whole time, lift through the left hip flexor. Keep the outer left hip moving back and in as you bend that front right knee. Take the hand down outside the knee to hold the brick at the second setting. And for right now, just take your right hand or your left hand, place it on your hip. Turn your chest up toward the ceiling as you sit the outer right buttock straight down. Take the shoulders down your back. Now push your chest forward like you're pushing your chest over your right thigh. Take the right hip, the right butt cheek straight down toward the floor. Keep that left knee straight. And to create space for your right lumbar, take that right buttock straight down. Away from that buttock action, push the chest forward. Like you're going to push your chest over your right leg. And then extend the left arm along the side of the body. Take the arm overhead. Now turn the chest up, press the left heel, inhale, swing the arm to come up. And then once you release, turn the feet to the other side. Keep that right knee straight, lift through the front right hip flexor, and take that right hip in. That right back buttock, pull that back buttock in. Now when you bend your left knee, bend the knee, extend over the left leg, take your right hand to your hip, hold the brick second setting. If second setting is too much, you can always use the taller setting. The back leg stays straight. Now here, drop, pull down on that left buttock. So it's like if there was a light right over top of you, there would cast a shadow right under your body. The mass of your body would cast a shadow. You sit the outer left hip, not the bottom buttock, but the outer hip and buttock straight down into that casted shadow. Keep your right hand on your hip, turn your chest from the left to the right, and now push the chest over the left leg. Like you're puffing your chest up and out toward the wall that you're facing. And then straighten the right arm, take the right arm overhead. Turn the chest to the right as you drop the left buttock straight down. And then inhale, pull the arm to come up, turn the feet, and jump the feet back together. Stand once again in Tadasana, this time with your feet hips distance apart. How we first did Tadasana. Take the buttock down in the back, tailbone down in the back, lift up through the front hips. Extend the arms, reach the fingertips toward the floor. And for our next pose, the next pose is Vimanasana. Vimana is airplane, so the body resembles an airplane in this pose. I'm going to remove blocks from my mat. I stand in Tadasana. And I'm going to jump the feet wide. So this pose is in, let's see if I have enough room. I do have enough room. It's in the family of poses for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. I turn my feet to the right. So I turn my left toes in, turn my right foot 90 degrees, and then I pick my left heel up and pivot on the ball mound of the foot and turn my feet so that my feet, if you can see in the video, hopefully that my feet are parallel to each other. My left heel is off the ground. The inner edges of my feet are parallel. And here, if balance troubles you, like if you feel too wobbly, you could take your right foot further out to the right so that the distance, there's this long distance between the feet, but the width of the spacing between the feet, you can make that larger to help balance. Now straighten your left knee by pressing the left thigh up, lift the chest, and now take the tailbone forward like you're taking the top of the buttock toward the floor and the under buttock and the tailbone toward the right knee. Keep the arms extended, that helps keep the chest lifted, and then bend the right knee. Keep that left knee lifting away from the floor, left front thigh lifting away from the floor. Take buttocks, top buttock down, tailbone forward. And everybody can always do more with the tailbone. So take the tailbone forward, buttocks down, make that same length of the lumbar. Lift up through the thoracic lumbar, that back bottom rib junction. And then inhale to come up, straighten the right knee. Rest your hands on your hips for a moment. And turn the feet to the left. First, turn the right toes in, then turn the left foot out 90 degrees. Then you pick the heel up. So pick up your right heel, turn your hips and your chest, and then extend the arms once again. Again, if balance troubles here, take the left out to the left more. Straighten the left knee, lift the chest. And you're not straightening the left knee is sort of the, we all know what that looks like, but feel that you're making your left front thigh work to do that. More than just pressing the knee up, press the left thigh, or rather the right knee. Press the right thigh up, the right knee up to get that to straighten. And then bend your left knee. As you bend the left knee, sit down into the pose, and now take that tailbone forward once again. Tailbone forward, top buttock down, and you feel as much as that tailbone starts to go forward, top buttock down, the knee wants to bend. The right knee wants to bend. So you have to resist that. Move the front right thigh up, tailbone forward. Inhale to come up, turn the feet, bend the elbows, and jump the feet back together. Same pose. Now we're going to finish it by bringing the arms up to Urdhva Hastasana at the end. Okay, so jump the feet wide. Turn the feet to the right. Left toes in, right foot out 90. Turn the body. So this is an airplane pose because your arms are like two wings. So straighten the left knee, pull up on that left thigh, tailbone forward, bend the right knee. As you bend the right knee, press back the left heel. The left heel doesn't actually have to come to the ground. It would be great if it did, but don't prioritize that. Turn your hips to the right and take the tailbone forward. Turn the palms up, extend the arms overhead. Your hands are in Urdhva Hasta arms, so there's a couple inches or about a foot between the hands, shoulder width apart with the hands. Lift the chest, sit down deeper to the pose. Bend the right knee more, and straighten the left knee more. And then take the tailbone forward, top buttock down, lift up through the thoracic lumbar junction, that back bottom rib. Inhale to come up, rest the hands on the hips, and turn the feet to the left. Right toes in, left foot out 90. Pick the rear heel up, pivot on the right ball mound of the foot to turn the feet parallel to each other. Extend the arms, straighten the right knee by lifting the right thigh. Take the tailbone forward, top buttock down. Keep that, lift up the thoracic lumbar junction, bend the left knee. Keep that right front thigh moving up. And that right front thigh moving up almost fights against the tailbone action. The more those two happen together, the tendency is that the hips will feel the pose more deeply. Particularly that right hip flexor will feel the pose more deeply. So thigh up, tailbone forward, turn the palms up, extend the arms overhead. And then keep looking forward. In Warrior One, we look up. For right now, we're just looking forward. Lift the chest, lift that thoracic lumbar junction, tailbone forward. And then inhale to come up, turn the feet, and jump the feet back to Tadasana. See how we do. Good. Next pose is the classic, Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Walk or jump the feet wide. It's quite a sequence. It's a really nice, vigorous sequence. So for Warrior One, once you jump the feet wide, in this pose, we take the arms overhead right from the beginning. So extend the arms out to the side, turn the palms up, take the arms together. I'm going to kneel down here so you can see what I do with my hands. I'm taking my hands up, Urdhva Namaskarasana, So I have Urdhva Namaskarasana hands, turn the feet to the right. Left toes in. Make sure your left foot turns in 45 degrees here. And then turn the abdomen and the chest to the left, or rather the right. Extend the arms behind the ears, keep the chest lifting. Take the tailbone forward, left knee straight. And when you bend your right knee, feel that you're bending your right knee by taking your tailbone towards your knee. So the right knee bends and the pelvis is extending in that direction. Lift up through the left hip flexor. Keep that left knee straight, press back the left heel from the calf, reach to the heel, and then finally complete the pose by looking up, look up at your hands. And then inhale to come up, turn the feet to the other side. If you can keep the arms extended overhead, good. Make sure that that right foot turns in 45 degrees, turn the abdomen and the chest. Straighten the back leg, lift the chest. Now lift the front hip flexor on the right. Take the tailbone forward. Bend the knee by pushing, as if you're pushing your tailbone into the left knee. Reach back into the right heel. Press that right heel down. Straighten the arms, lift the chest, look up at the hands. And inhale to come up, turn the feet, and jump the feet back together. Fully extend the arms. I'm going to do that pose one more time, but we'll take sort of a pause in between it, just a little rest, if you will. I don't even want to call it a rest. It's just you're gathering yourself. So lift the chest, straighten the knees. You have your feet hips width apart in Tadasana. Roll the shoulders back and down, press the chest forward. Lift the right and the left side of the chest symmetrically. Take the shoulders down the back symmetrically. Right and left arm symmetrically reach toward the floor. And then to come back to the wide-legged stance for Virabhadrasana 1 again, bend your knees, bring your fingertips together. Inhale to jump the feet wide. Extend the arms overhead, join the palms together. Lift chest. See that the right and the left side of the chest are the same distance from the wall in front of you. Lift from the hip flexors to the abdomen to the chest. Lift up through the thoracic lumbar junction. Then turn the feet to the right. The feet have to be really wide here to get the full distance. It's I would say, a little bit wider than triangle pose in those poses, the lateral poses. So you have a pretty wide distance between the feet. Lift the abdomen and the chest. And now here, turn your chest to the right. Roll the left ribs forward to the right. So your hips will move so much, make sure that your chest is at least square. Straighten the left knee, tailbone forward, bend the right knee even deeper than you did last time. Bend that right knee even more. Lift the chest, turn the chest to the right. Tailbone forward, back leg, press the heel. Inhale to come up, turn the feet to the other side. Right toes turn in 45 degrees, left foot goes out 90, then lift the chest, turn the chest to the left. Hips move so much, but get the chest to move. And then bend the left knee. Keep the right knee straight. Turn the hips to the right, or rather the left, turn the hips to the left. Turn the chest to the left.
Sit down deeper into the pose. Bend the knee even more than you did the first time going to the left. And then inhale to come up, turn the feet, bend the knees, and jump the feet back together. Extend the arms, lift the chest. Good. So we're going to release the back now with downward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So you're going to come onto your hands and your knees on your mat. Make sure that your index fingers are parallel to each other. Your hands are shoulder distance apart, maybe about a half an inch wider than shoulder distance apart. Walk the knees back so that the knees are back a little bit from the hips. Curl the toes underneath. Now, once again, in this pose, turn the biceps up, lengthen the thoracic lumbar spine. So you take the tailbone. If you can see the video right now, I'm just dumping my abdomen forward, dumping my lower back forward. It's not good. Take the tailbone down, sacrum back, tailbone down. So we'll almost feel like you're doing, it's cat. I think that's what some traditions call it, like cat pose, but you're only doing that in your lumbar. Do a back bend in your thoracic spine, your upper back. So you're doing this like neutralizing the pelvis in the lumbar and the pelvis, taking the tailbone down. In the upper back, do a back arch. Press the chest forward through the hands. Turn the upper arms. See, can you get your chest to lift even more? Can you lengthen from the abdomen to the chest? Keep that completely flat spine, tailbone going back as you lift the knees and straighten the legs. And now you're pressing your sacrum and tailbone toward the wall behind you. If you look through your legs, there's a wall there, something there. Press the sacrum and tailbone back in that direction. Keep extending that thoracic lumbar junction. Press the index finger down, straighten the elbows. And when you straighten the elbows, spread the shoulders away from the ears and turn the biceps up. Take the thighs back, heels down and back, sacrum straight back. And now to get the upper back more into the pose, press the shoulder blades forward into the lungs. And then bend the knees, come down. Spread the fingers once again. We're going to go up one more time. This time, elbows straight, knees back so they're not quite under the hips. And I hope that this makes sense, that you're not just dumping your lumbar and your abdomen forward. Take the tailbone down, and you should be drawn in on your head. It's not a quote unquote crunch, but when you take the tailbone down and neutralize the pelvis, the abdomen should move away from the floor, not because it's hard or gripped, but just the shape of the body draws the abdomen in and up. And then keep that, but move your shoulder blades away from your ears, and move your shoulder blades away from your ears. Move the vertebrae of the upper back forward without disturbing the lumbar. The lumbar moves so easily here. Keep the lumbar neutral. Move those upper vertebrae, the ones right between the shoulder blades, move them forward. And then lift the knees, move up into the pose slow enough to feel that length of the spine and to preserve that length of the spine. Sacrum back, thoracic spine forward. Now you're lifting your abdomen as if you were going to lift your abdomen through your legs. Press the knuckles of the hands down, especially the index finger knuckle. And then bend the knees and come down. So our next pose is Chatushpadasana. Chatu is four, pada is foot, so it's the four-footed pose. It looks pretty similar to what is often called bridge pose. So in this one, we're going to lie on our backs with knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Now in the final pose, you hold your ankles, but the first time we do the pose, we're going to hold the mat through the whole time we do the pose. So you're going to bring your feet in as close to your buttocks as you can. You can use your hands for now to help move the feet in, but then once you have your feet in and your feet parallel, second toes parallel to each other, then you're going to take your hands and you're going to grab hold of the edges of your mat. Grab the edges of the mat, straighten the elbows, and lift the hips just a few inches away. We're not going all the way up into the pose yet, but lift the hips a few inches away from the ground. And then roll your shoulders underneath you. Push your fists towards your feet. Straighten your elbows, push the fists toward the feet, and you'll see that that will drag your shoulders more underneath you. Press the inner edges of the feet down. Keep extending the fists toward the feet and lift the hips up. Lift the tailbone up. Keep lifting the hips, keep lifting the tailbone. And see, can you get the hips to lift even higher? Turn the biceps up, press the arms down to help lift the hips. And then release the hips down. For the final time, the second time doing the pose, we're going to attempt to hold the feet. If there's no way you're going to hold your feet, like if it's too much on your lumbar, too much on your back, or your hip flexors for that matter, you would either keep holding the mat, that's sort of the easiest fix, but then also an option is to like lasso your legs with the belt. You would hold the belt around the feet, like it would go around the ankles. Let's see if I could grab a belt here to show. So the belt would go like this. If you're not using the belt, if you can not use the belt, hold the feet. You bring your feet, even with the belt, even if you're holding the mat, whatever the situation, whatever the hand position is, you're bringing the feet as close into the buttocks as possible. And then if you're holding the feet, you're wrapping the fingers around the front ankles, thumb with the index finger wrapping around. Make sure your feet are parallel to each other. And then lift the hips a few inches, get the shoulders underneath you. Lift the hips a few more inches, get the shoulders a little bit more underneath you so you're actively retracting your shoulder blades underneath you. Lift the chest. With elbows straight, extend from the shoulder joint to the knuckles of the hands. Hold on the feet and lift your hips higher. Roll your thighs in. Take the tailbone up as you roll both of your thighs in. Roll both outer knees toward the inner knees. Take the inner groins down as the tailbone goes up so you're not taking your knees wide out to the side. Lift the hips even more. Press the toes down and away to help lift the hips. And exhale to come down.
Now our next pose is our sort of our last quote unquote active pose. This is that was Chatushpadasana. Next pose is Adho Mukha Virasana. Let's see, bolster. I have a wood floor here. I'm gonna fold my mat over in half for a little extra padding under my knees. I take the bolster. I kneel down. I sit on my heels. I have my knees wide enough apart so that I can fit a bolster between my knees. If you don't have a bolster, well, I'm going to say one more thing about the bolster first before we get into if you don't have it. If you have the bolster, you're going to place a blanket or a bath towel on top of the bolster. You have another blanket or bath towel handy, and that's only for, regardless of whether or not you're using the bolster, that's only for if your butt comes away from your heels when you go forward. Now, the pose looks like this. You keep your butt on your heels, you extend forward, you keep the arms active, but you rest the forehead and chest onto the bolster. If you don't have that bolster, like a sturdy, thick enough bolster, if the bolster doesn't bolst, then you would use a brick, like one of your bricks or several books or something like that, and this would support your forehead. Ideally as well, if you had two bricks, you could also support the chest. So you would place a brick under the chest and a brick for the forehead. The first minute or so here, we're going to keep the arms very active. So it's like downward facing dog arms. You extend the arms forward, index fingers parallel. With straight elbows, you turn the biceps forward. Spread the shoulders away from the ears. If you feel that your butt comes away from your heels at all, even if it's just like a little centimeter, half centimeter, take a little support there. Keep taking that top buttock down towards the heels. So it's that same pelvic action of the whole class. You're not just dumping your abdomen forward and your lumbar forward. You're actually trying to get as much length in your spine as you possibly can. So at the back of the spine, you're pressing the top buttock down towards the heels of the feet. On the front spine, you're pressing the chest down into the bolster and forward. The arms support the length of the spine. And now you're going to take your arms. If you don't have the bolster, you'll keep the arms extended straight. If you have the bolster, you'll take the arms and cross the arms on top of the bolster over the head so that you're holding the opposite elbow. And that's very important. You're not just holding your wrists and letting your arms just go limp. You're actively getting your biceps next to your ears and taking a clasp where each arm holds its opposite arm's elbow. Chest still goes down, buttocks, top buttock still goes down. And there's a different quality of elongation in the back when you have the arms up like this. So if you don't have the bolster, an option, if you have a lot of blocks or if you have a lot of support, you could get a couple of like couch cushions to place your chest and your arms on or something like that. This arm variation is very nice for just releasing the back after the poses that we've done today. And then if you've got that clasp, change the clasp so you're holding the opposite elbow.
And to release the arms, bring the hands in close to the knee so that you can press down into your hands to help bring you up.
And then once you're seated, you can remove the bolster from in front of you. You remove the blankets under the buttock if you're using those. And we're going to set up for Shavasana, classic Shavasana. If your lower back has pained you at all throughout this class, then you'll use a chair or rest the legs onto like a couch. So I'm going to show it with a chair, and I think you'll get the feeling for what I'm talking about. So this chair slightly slants this direction, like this is higher than this. So I've set the chair up like this so that like this, my calves would be supported, but my feet would kind of be dangling. So I'm going to place the chair like this. As a creature comfort, I'm going to put a blanket on that chair. Again, you don't need to use this chair at all. This is sort of if you had a little bit of back pain throughout the class today, you would be using this Shavasana. I rest on my back. I thread my legs through the chair. And I'm going to take some support for the head. It would be better to use a towel rather than a bed pillow for this. I guess it kind of depends on your pillow, but a blanket, of course, too, is fine, but some support under the neck and the head. Again, the chair is optional, as you would use it at your discretion if you've had any back pain at all, or if you typically do have back pain. And then once you're lying down, you can do a quick kind of last minute check. I always find it interesting to look up and just see, I felt like I was done with my practice, right? I set up Shavasana, but Shavasana is still part of the practice. So I see, like, okay, in my rush to get to this pose, did I set myself up symmetrically? Did I put my feet on the chair symmetrically? Is my body symmetric on the mat? Am I over to the right or to the left? So I make all those final little refinements. I roll my shoulders underneath me. I turn the palms up. And then the effort has to come to an end. And you just relax. And there's a beautiful surrendering quality to restorative poses, Shavasana, and many poses. Once we can be comfortable in them, release unnecessary effort in the poses, there can be a surrendering quality in any pose. But especially, it's so easy to get in touch with. It's so readily accessed in a pose like Shavasana. And the mundane or the superficial surrender is to relax the body and relax the breathing. But a more profound and meaningful surrender is to actually let go of yourself. To be non-conceptual, not a commentator of your experience or of some other idea or some other concept. But to totally let go of any identification with body, with mind. And be nothing. Attentive, observant.
peaceful or gentle.
Be nothing. And then lightly extend the fingers and the toes. Bend the knees. Either bend them up from the floor or bend them away from the chair, and draw the knees toward the chest as you roll to the right side and support the head and the arm. And then slowly come up to seated. Namaste.